For the second semifinal of the day at the gold bracket of the 2019 Poundfest. This one will feature the McAllen Memorial Lady Mustangs taking on the Brownsville Rivera Lady Raiders. Earlier we had an exciting semifinal number one as Mackay and Nikki Rowe put on a good show before the Mackay Bulldogs advanced on, punched their ticket into the championship game. And now we're set to see Rivera and the Mustangs. The first serve coming up, semifinal from the 2019 Poundfest on Rio Sports Live.
Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles. How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you. Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito.
Hi, we're Robert Mello, Sabercats, and thank you for watching Rio Sports Live.
Back here on Rio Sports Live as you see the Lady Mustangs of McAllen Memorial out there on the floor. Earlier today, they were challenged by Edinburgh North in their quarterfinal game, but managed to find their way through. They were unbeaten in pool play for the first 2 days, and then won that quarterfinal game early this morning in the 10 o'clock game, and now they find themselves here against a Brownsville Rivera team that knocked off Los Fresnos. Rivera's lost just once in this tournament, and that was in pool play on day 2 when they lost to Nikki Rowe, the only team that's handed them a loss. Earlier today in their victory over Los Fresnos, it was a game in which they took control by playing tremendous defense against the hitters of Los Fresnos, got them a little off pace, and were able to bring enough firepower to gain the win. And in game 2, they took control of the game early on, and just it was a frustrating way of playing for Los Fresnos as they just never could seem to put the team away. Memorial serves it up and away we go. First hit across the net, played by the Lady Mustangs up near the net, played over on the Rivera side. This team will play great defense on the back row. And then again, bring just enough firepower to keep you honest when you're playing defense. Ball at the net, past the blockers, played this time by the Mustangs. They too can play some good defense. We saw that yesterday. Long rally to produce game point number 1. Ball over on the Mustang side as it continues. Silva with a kill attempt. Got it to go. Memorial leads 1-0. Natalie Silva, one of the big hitters on this Memorial team. Now, the difference between Memorial and Los Fresnos is that Memorial has more hitters. I'm not saying they're better hitters, but they certainly have more of them. So anywhere the ball is on the floor, you have to be aware that it could be a big hit coming at you. Talamentes, Carissa Talamentes back at the service line, gets it across. Played by the Rivera Raiders, a high set center, tipped over the block. Talamentes with a diving play to keep that alive, but then it goes out of bounds, and a point to Rivera. Brownsville Rivera now serving. Back to serve stands Christina Garza. Garza gets that across. Played by Talamentes for Memorial. Lady Mustangs set it up on the right side. Marburger puts it down for the point. Sydney Marburger, another one of those players that can rotate forward and become the key hitter on any rotation at the net. Evelyn Whitworth checks in. She's another big hitter for this Memorial team, as again, they just bring wave after wave of hitters in. That's an ace served up for the Mustangs, and they go up 4-1. Mustangs to serve it up. Natalie Silva. Jump serve across. Played by the Raiders, a high set off the net. Kill attempt this time by Kenya Ibarra. Makes it a 4-2 game. Ibarra can bring the power for Rivera. She's on that front row. Lady Raiders need to take advantage of her being in that position. Laisha Izagiri serves it over. A pass is up near the net. Challenge is in the net called on Memorial, and a point scored by Rivera. Brownsville Rivera now serving for the tie as Izagiri ready to put it into play. Gets that across, played by the Mustangs on the angle, and Whitworth gets it to go for the point. Next serve across. Raiders there to play that off the net. Down by 2. Memorial on the attack, and a big kill down by Demi Banks. First big hit attempt by Banks. Makes it a 6-3 game. Pause in the action as they check over at the scorer's table. Reminding you, we have broadcast coming your way from Donna right now as we speak. On Tuesday, we'll be back on the road for volleyball action. Right now, it appears as though 2 of our systems will be in play. One at Los Fresnos as Nikki Rowe travels to Los Fresnos on Tuesday night. And also, McAllen will be at Brownsville Rivera. Those are 2 games I've eyed as being able to send systems to. This next week coming up, volleyball tournament action continues as we have tournaments in Mission and in Port Isabel. And we're vying the opportunity to cover both tournaments if we can get the people in place to pull that off. Football season just a couple of weeks away. We'll be covering football as well on an expanded basis compared to last year. Keep watching our website for more information on games we'll be covering in the future. Again, a long pause on the rotation, and we kind of watched this play out yesterday on multiple occasions. Usually it results in a whistle, and they say okay, and away we go, and that's exactly what they call here. Point awarded, though, to Rivera on a rotation error. And so the Lady Raiders, down by 1, will serve. Alondra Garza back to serve. Check that. That's Clarissa Olivares to serve it up. Olivares puts it into play. Played by the Mustangs. A high pass and a set for Banks. Tips it over and down for the point. Mustangs back up by 3 at 7-4. Banks now back to serve. Jump serve, got it across. Ball up at the net for the Raiders. Past the block. Back there to dig that. Sofia Villarreal. Banks on the back row attempt. That carries that into the net. Point scored for Brownsville Rivera. Lady Raiders down 1. Kenya Ibarra rotates back to serve. Gets that one across. (7-5) game now, Memorial on top. Macy Henderson back to serve. Championship game coming up at 2 o'clock. There will be a pause in our broadcasting. No third place game here, as we will take a break. Serve across, played by the Raiders. They'll keep that ball alive for a moment, then nothing doing. An ace served up for Memorial. Mustangs up 8-5 here in game 1. We saw this yesterday that Memorial, their servers were able to keep teams off balance, which was just another powerful weapon that this team brings to the table. Spike across, played by the back row. Mustangs on the attack off the net. Spiked over, played by the Raiders. Good dig by Guerra at the net, off the block. That's going to be a point Memorial. as that ball carried into the net before it got to the blockers. 9-5 game. Henderson to serve again for McAllen Memorial. Deeper serve. On the return of serve, Guerra keeps that in play. Over in the middle, point for Rivera. Guerra dug that on a nice return. Now she rotates back to serve. Rochelle Guerra. Gets that across to the back row of Memorial. They'll set it up right side. And that carries out of bounds on a kill attempt by Bianca Ramirez. 2-point game. Guerra to serve again. Gets that one across. Henderson on the return. A high set left side, and that is out of bounds as Silva misses on the connection. 9-8 game. Raiders serving now for the tie as Guerra puts it into play. Henderson with the pass. Second hit over, played by the Raiders. Off the net this time, past the blockers. Punched up in the air by Marburger. Ball up for Silva, tips it over the blockers. Covered nicely by the Rivera Raiders. Ball into the net, though. Point Memorial. 10-8. One thing about this Raider team from Brownsville Rivera, you'll see them, not many balls fall when you tip that past the blockers. They're tremendous at covering, allowing their blockers to be aggressive at the net. Back row attempt this time by Guerra off the block. Point Rivera. 1-point game. Served by the Raiders. A good pass by the Mustangs. Center set for Fernandez. Block back at you. Point. All tied at 10 apiece. Raiders withstanding the early barrage and now serving for the lead. Mustangs at the net. Second hit over, covered. On the attack, middle, back corner. That's good. Point, Brownsville Rivera. They lead by 1. 11-10 the score. Brownsville Rivera. And this, if you're wondering, this is a young squad. They're only going to get better as this year goes on. Alondra Guzman serves it up. Ball pass up at the net, punched over, and a point to Memorial as they'll call over the net on Rivera. That's unfortunate. You wait the extra second. You got a free choice of where to place that ball. Rivera could have easily scored, all tied up. Set it up on the right side. Point Rivera as that goes out of bounds off the hand of Silva. Rivera back on top, 12-11. Back to serve, Christina Garza. Garza gets it over. A high pass, a better pass this time. Banks puts it away. Ties it up at 12 apiece. Silva rotates to the back row to serve. Whitworth back in the ball game on the front row for McAllen Memorial. Silva serves it up. Raiders of Brownsville Rivera on the attack. Block back at you. Off the block, though. Point for Rivera. Kenya Ibarra takes that off the block. Got the point. Raiders to serve again. Mustangs on the back set. Banks, that's covered nicely. Ball at the net. This time the Mustangs keep it in play. Whitworth, glance that off the net. High set for Ibarra. Pass a double block. Diving play by Talamentes. Ball at the net. Point Memorial. Talamentes with a diving play on that back row to keep it alive. Everything there from that point on at the net. Had Brownsville Rivera backpedaling. All tied at 13 apiece. Marburger serves it up. Raiders on a middle set. That's going to be 2 hits called and a point to Memorial. And now McAllen Memorial controls with the lead. Marburger back to serve. Short serve across. Guerra with the pass. A high back set. Tipped over. Memorial on the attack with a high set. Whitworth reaches up, swings away, but out of bounds it goes. Ties us up at 14 apiece. Back to serve is Clarissa Olivares. Mustangs on the attack center. Banks. Olivares there to dig that. Raiders try to set it on a back row attempt. Played over on the Mustang side. McAllen Memorial banks again. This time Guerra there to dig it. Back row again by the Raiders. Too strong. Out of bounds it goes. Point Memorial. We saw them do that against Los Fresnos when the big hitters started unleashing those hits. The back row seemed to get better and better and more active for the Raiders. Mustangs now on the attack here. Whitworth off the net, got it over, angles it out of bounds though. Point scored for Brownsville Rivera. Rivera now serving, trying to regain the lead. Point back to Memorial, they go up one. 16-15 your score. Rivera Raiders waiting for the return of serve. On its way. Deep serve, that was headed out. Guerra keeps it alive. Ball over on the Memorial side. Real good chance here for the Mustangs. Fernandez off the block, got the point. Well, you give them a chance, it's like committing an error in baseball or a turnover in basketball. You give a team like Memorial that extra opportunity, in most cases, they won't waste it. Raiders set it up on a backside. Block back at you. Point Memorial. Just like that, they're up by 3. Trying to reach the championship game against Mac High, which is set at 2 o'clock here in this gym. Next serve across by Henderson. Ball up at the net. Challenge, diving play, keeps it alive. Ball in the back corner. Right there, here come the Mustangs again, and Silva puts it away with a kill. So they're matching the effort of the Lady Raiders, are the Lady Mustangs at the net. And then bringing the firepower of hitters like Natalie Silva to finish off a rally. Good diving play by the Raiders to keep that alive on the pass. The ball caroms out of bounds. It's a 5-point lead. 20-15, timeout call by Brownsville. Rivera. McAllen Memorial up. Back after this.
The bonds we create with our pets can be powerful. A man's best friend really isn't just about dogs, but about any animal companion that brings us joy and unconditional love. Losing a loved one is heart-wrenching, but losing a pet can be just as difficult. Unconditional love deserves unmatched service, which is why we offer pet services for those special pets that become a special part of the family. We serve all the members of your family.
Needing a treat before or after the big game? Then when in Harlingen, stop in at the Scoop Ice Cream Parlor and Deli and treat yourself to some amazing things. Ice creams, shakes, sundaes, banana splits, and that's just a sample. If you can dream it, they can make it at the Scoop in Harlingen. From the deli comes a variety of sandwiches that is sure to bring you back for more. Hamburgers and hot dogs served every day. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7, Sundays from 12 to 6. On F Street in Harlingen, it's the Scoop Ice Cream Parlor and Deli.
Hi, we're Sherryland Rattlers, and thank you for watching Real Sports Live.
Back here after the timeout, McAllen Memorial continues on pace, scores another point and goes up 6 here against Brownsville Rivera in this semifinal game number 1 of a best-of-3 series. Another serve coming up by Macy Henderson. She's been busy on the service line. This rotation back. Back corner, that's in, and the Rivera Raiders score. 5-point game. Raiders sending back to the line, Rochelle Guerra to serve. Jump serve across, played by the Mustangs. A high set, here comes Silva. Ball dug by Guerra. High set in the middle, off the block. Played on the back row by Marburger to keep that alive. Back over, Guerra with a pass. High set, left side, across. Diving play by Henderson keeps that alive. Ball up front at the net, punched over. Guerra there to get that one. Punched over the net. Ball still alive. Mustangs attack again, dug again by the Raiders. Set it up off the net, spiked off the block. Point, Brownsville Rivera. And that's what we saw by Rivera against Los Fresnos. Just able to sustain play, keep balls in play, and eventually find a seam in the defense on their opponent. 4-point game, Guerra with a serve. Pass goes out of bounds. Ace for Rivera. 3-point game. Guerra with a good rotation on the service line. Checking in, Bianca Ramirez now for McAllen Memorial. Serve is a line drive played by Talamentes. High set for Silva. Guerra there to dig that. Back row attempt right back at you. Down central, point for Rivera. Started with a dig by Guerra, and then immediately Kenya Ibarra became the attack point. And a timeout called by McAllen Memorial. Back after this.
Hola, les habla su amigo Benjamín Gómez, el alcalde de San Benito, invitando a toda la gente que venga a visitarnos aquí a San Benito. Crucen por el puente Los Indios, más bien conocido como el puente de Lucio Blanco. Visítenos a las atracciones que tenemos aquí en San Benito. Aquí los esperamos. Muchas gracias. Su amigo Benjamín Gómez.
TVNS specializes in provider services, respite care, and emergency response services. TVNS are pioneers in the home care industry, in service for over 37 years. 11 locations from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, from Harlingen to Laredo.
Today's game is sponsored by TVNS, the pioneers in serving our community with the highest quality in provider services.
Back here after a timeout, Brownsville Rivera's Rochelle Guerra will serve after the Mustangs call the timeout to talk it over. Set up Silva, tipped it past the blockers. That goes out of bounds and a point to Brownsville Rivera. And just like that, it's a 1-point game, and Guerra's serving for the tie. Guerra ready. Got it across. Good pass. High set by Marburger. Second hit over. Point Memorial. Marburger caught him off guard. Caught that back row, getting ready for a big hit. Two-point lead for the Mustangs. They'll serve it up. Pass by the Raiders. Still on the back row. They'll go to Ibarra. That's off the block. Diving play keeps that alive for the Lady Mustangs. How about that play by Jacqueline Trevino? Ball on the Raiders side. Falls. Point Memorial. Trevino with his tremendous play to keep that one alive. And now she rotates back to serve. Deep serve played by Guerra on the back row. Set it up front row. Deep hit, out of bounds it goes. Memorial scores again. McAllen Memorial now serving for the game. Timeout called by the Raiders.
The bonds we create with our pets can be powerful. A man's best friend really isn't just about dogs, but about any animal companion that brings us joy and unconditional love. Losing a loved one is heart-wrenching, but losing a pet can be just as difficult. Unconditional love deserves unmatched service, which is why we offer pet services for those special pets that become a special part of the family. We serve all the members of your family.
Hi, we're PSJ Southwest Javelinas, and thank you for watching Real Sports Live. J's up!
Back here on Rio Sports Live. Joe Bowling with you as we continue coverage of the Poundfest after the timeout. Brownsville Rivera Raiders coming right back at you. Serve across, that's 4 hits, and a point scored by the Mustangs of McAllen Memorial, and they win game 1, 25-20. 1 game away from being in the championships are the McAllen Memorial Lady Mustangs. Brownsville Rivera will have to dig a little deeper as we get set for game 2 of this best of 3 after this.
How to add the VTX1 app to your Roku device. All your favorite shows from VTX1 Channel 1 and exciting games broadcast on Rio Sports Live can be added onto your Roku device by following these simple steps. Step 1. Scroll down to search and push OK on the remote control. Step 2. Type in VTX1 by using the arrow keys to move the cursor around the keyboard and pushing OK to enter the letters. When you're done, choose the VTX1 option on the right-hand side of the screen. Then push OK. Step 3. Choose the Add Channel option on the right-hand side of the screen and wait for the application to load. Congratulations! You have now successfully added the VTX1 app to your channel lineup. It can be found on the main screen under Home at the bottom of the list. For more information, visit the VTX1 website at vtx1.net/OTT.
Back here on Rio Sports Live as we get set for game 2 of this best of 3 in semifinal number 2 between Brownsville Rivera and McAllen Memorial. Already we know Mac High is in the championship game. They're awaiting the winner of this one. And the Lady Mustangs in control here as they took the first game 25-20. Rivera will serve. It's important for Brownsville Rivera to stay right with this team early on in this game. Otherwise, they'll be looking up at a double-digit deficit faster than you can blink your eye. That hit goes out of bounds. Rivera scores the first point of the game. Serving is Christina Garza. Garza puts that one in play. Mustangs on the return to serve, set it up right side. That's Silva off the block. That's a point. Carries across for Memorial. Silva attacking from the right side. Whitworth now checks in the game. Evelyn Whitworth replacing Macy Henderson. Meanwhile, Natalie Silva back to serve. Cross played off the back row. That's an ace served up by Natalie Silva. Silva ready to go with another. Jump serve across. Good pass this time by the Lady Raiders. Set it up on the right side, but in the net it goes. A point Memorial. Again, little errors. You can't afford to do that early. Well, at any point against this team, but early on, you do not want to fall back into a huge hole. Almost impossible to climb out of. There's a thunderous crunch and a kill across by Kenya Ibarra to make it a 3-2 game. Served up by the Raiders. Mustangs on the attack from the right side. That's across and down on a kill by Sydney Marburger. Marburger now rotates back to serve. Gets that across. Played by the Lady Raiders of Brownsville, Rivera. Ibarra past the blockers. Diving play by Marburger to keep that alive. Punched over. This time Demi Banks up on that front row. This time they'll set it up on a back set. And that's off the block and a point scored on a kill by Bianca Ramirez. Ramirez on the finish. Marburger to serve again. Raiders there on the back row to play that. Set it up, punch it across the net. Set up high this time for Evelyn Whitworth. That's in the net, point Rivera. And right now, if you're Brownsville Rivera, you got to take advantage of this. These hitters are just not getting those clear views and those big-time finishes, which we're accustomed to seeing from McAllen Memorial. Deep serve, quick set, Demi Banks, block back at you, point Rivera. Double block was established. Mustangs now on the attack. Off the block again, this time in the net, it's called. Point scored by McAllen Memorial. Mustangs to serve again. Diving play by Guerra to keep that alive. Ibarra from off the net. Got it across. Mustangs on the attack. Back row there to play that for the Raiders. Set up. Ibarra punched up in the air. Ball alive on the Mustang side. Right back at you. Raiders cover that. Back corner. Back there to play that. Now up at the net. Spike across by Whitworth is covered. Ibarra trying to attack right back at you. Does. Scored the point. Long rally, and Brownsville Rivera able to score that point. Ball across, played by the Raiders. Mustangs get it up near the net, dig it out of there. Whitworth tips it over the blockers, covered by the Raiders. Back row attempt by Guerra. Played on the back row by Marburger, who's back there. Another big hit, covered again by Rivera. And then two hits called and a point to Memorial. Those are those little errors being made now by Rivera. The coaches will talk about that they just have to eliminate in order to win big games. Good pass this time. Set it up off the net. Spike across by Garza, played by the Mustangs. Punched over. Raiders there to play that on the right side this time, but in the net it goes. Point Memorial. Three-point lead. Macy Henderson to serve again. Got it across, played by the Raiders. A high set center, tip, block back at you. Raiders have to regroup. Second hit over this time, right back on the Raiders side again. High set this time from the left side. Back there is Talamantes to dig that. A big swing that time by Silva, who's rotated back to the front row. Coming back at you is Ibarra. Now another huge hit. Dug out by the Raiders. Right back at you, off the block, and a kill is good for Christina Garza. 2 thunderous hits by McAllen Memorial, both dug by the defense, and then taking advantage of the carom off the block. Christina Garza scored the point. Mustangs set up Silva, 2 hands that over. Raiders there to cover that. We'll set it up. Free hit coming up for the Mustangs. A high set this time, that's Fernandez. Diving play by Guerra, tipped over by the Raiders. Mustangs attack again, this time it's Silva. Tipped it with a left hand, got the point. Silva using the offhand to angle that past the block. Mustangs serve it up. Raiders on the attack. Hit that off the block. Mustangs back on the attack from the left side. This is Silva. Good dig this time on the back row. Again by the Raiders. That's Ibarra. Ball back of the net. Silva again. Block back at you this time. Talamentez is there. Digs it off. Cross the angle. Out of bounds it goes. Rivera scores the point. They know the hits are coming. They just keep playing defense. Brownsville Rivera not backing down from this Mustang team. Mustangs, though, just keep applying the pressure. Serve across. Mustangs on the second hit, still on the back row. They will get an attack out of that. Pretty decent hit by Silva. Covered. Ball blocked back on the Rivera side. One-handed over. Diving play keeps that alive. What a play back there by Macy Henderson. Raiders now trying to set it up at the net, across the angle. There's Talamentez to Henderson to Silva. Blocked, but in the net though, Raiders. Or is it 2 hits? No, 2 hits called. Point awarded to Brownsville Rivera. Should tie us up. Serve over, Mustangs. On the second hit, we'll get it over. Rivera now up near the net. High set, past the blockers, covered nicely though by Jacqueline Trevino. Raiders set it up high, off the net again. In the net it goes, point Memorial. Two-point lead on the scoreboard. Raiders now set it up on the back set. That's in the net. Like I said, they just keep applying pressure. Memorial, you climb, you fight, you scratch, you get back close, and then they just extend back out. Back out by 3 on the lead. Back row attempt this time. That's going to be in the net on Memorial, point Rivera. And against a team like Rivera, you have to maintain that pressure because this team just keeps coming. They don't back away. High set middle, Demi Banks. Haven't said her name in a while, and she produces there. 12-9 with Banks on the kill. The loser of this has to turn around and play in a third-place game, which is tough to do. The winner gets the rest of the game, and then their championship will be played. High set, big attempt, big kill down for the Raiders. When Kenya Ibarra is given an opportunity, she can bring it. Delivered on that one. 2-point game. Back to serve for the Raiders of Brownsville Rivera. Laisha Izaguirre, that's in the net. Service there allows a point for Memorial. Serve over on the Raiders side. Back set this time from the back row, punched over. Played by the Memorial Mustangs. Off the net this time. Natalie Lizka now in the ball game. Spike across by Ibarra. Punch back on the Raiders side. They'll cover that defensively. Ball up near the net. High set for Banks. Nice dig that time on the back row by the Raiders. Set up Ibarra again off the block. Talamantes is right there. Passes to Marburger. Back set it goes. Covered again by the Raiders. Set up Ibarra. Punches it deep in the back corner, but out of bounds. Point Mustangs. McAllen Memorial now up 4. Marburger to serve. Guerra with a pass. They'll try Ibarra from the right side and found the angle this time. Point scored for Rivera. They moved Kenya Ibarra around just enough. She went from left side outside to a right side outside hitter. Scored on that hit. At the net, down it goes. Demi Banks on the kill. Banks that time, just an outright straight down on that kill. Back set for the Raiders. Ibarra right there to cover that is Banks. And a point for Memorial. McAllen Memorial now up 5 here in this game 2. This is where they traditionally have put teams away in the covered games we've had. They just get out to that 4 or 5 point lead, and in the blink of an eye, that's near double digits. Raiders stuck around in game 1, falling just by 5 at 25-20. Score a point there. Now is Ibarra serving. Talamantes with a good pass. A jump set for Fernandez. Got it over, but the Raiders covered it. And then 2 hits called on Brownsville Rivera. Another point for McAllen Memorial. Lady Mustangs trying to make it to the championship game against Mac High, who's already waiting. Timeout called on the floor. 5 point lead. Mustangs on top. Back after this.
Men, start the new year off right. Alpha Men's Primary Care wants to remind all men it's time for your annual physical. Call to schedule an appointment. It's about the body, mind, and emotion. Stop feeling sluggish, having no energy, or being stressed. Alpha Men's Healthcare believes in a holistic approach to your overall health. Even if you have low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, or gained weight, let Alpha Men's Primary Care help you increase your energy, stamina, endurance, and quality of life. Start feeling young again. Alpha Men's Primary Care is changing the way men's healthcare is done.
Hi, we're Robert Bellows Favorite Cats, and thank you for watching Real Sports Live.
Hola, les habla su amigo Benjamín Gómez, el alcalde de San Benito, invitando a toda la gente que venga a visitarnos aquí a San Benito. Crucen por el puente Los Indios, más bien conocido como el puente de Lucio Blanco. Visítenos a las atracciones que tenemos aquí en San Benito. Aquí los esperamos. Muchas gracias. Su amigo Benjamín Gómez.
Back here after a timeout. McAllen Memorial up by 5 at 17-12 here in game 2. And they're now serving after the Brownsville Rivera timeout, and they continue to score as they go up by 6. Henderson at the service line. When she's serving, this team scored points in the first game when they stretched out to gain control of the lead for good. Fernandez puts that away with a big kill. 19-12. Henderson to serve again. Just across, played by the Raiders on the back row. Ball over on the Memorial side. A high set, this time for Silva. Off the net it goes, in the net called though. And a point to McAllen Memorial. They go up 20-12. Another serve for Macy Henderson. Diving play this time by Guerra keeps that alive. Raiders just get it over and get the point. Christina Garza had just enough pace on that ball. And that ends the service run by Macy Henderson. Back to serve now, Rochelle Guerra puts that over. Quick set for Fernandez. Guerra there to dig that. Ball at the net, off the block. That caroms out of bounds, carried back in play. Ball still alive, the rally continues. Center set this time, off the block again, another diving play. Memorial cannot get this one over. Raiders score the point. That time, McAllen Memorial covered like every inch and some of the court and near the stands to try to keep that ball in play. 6-point cushion for McAllen Memorial. Guerra serving for the Raiders of Brownsville Rivera. Good pass. Marburger the set. Fernandez off the block, got the point. 21-14. McAllen Memorial to serve again. Raiders get it across. Talamentes diving, but can't get to that one. And a point scored for Brownsville Rivera. Back to serve is Kimberly Chavez. We'll check that. That's Alondra Guzman back in the ball game. Marburger gets it over. Now a big hit attempt, but just missing is Silva. Natalie Silva knows she just missed an opportunity. That was gift wrapped as a return of serve became a set in her direction. She'd like to get that again. This time they'll set up Fernandez. Blisters one down for a point. Another point for Memorial's Fernandez. (22-17) as the Raiders need to score a couple more here in a row. Down by 5 this late in the game. This one just comes across, might have been going out, was played. Banks now on the front row, tips that over. Ibarra also back to the front row, smashes that one home for the point.